So hey everyone, welcome back to Google Ads course by MTS. And here in module 6, we will talk about Performance Max campaign and some optimization and scaling tips. So what is PMax? So Performance Max, basically like short form PMax, is like, let's say, auto placement on Facebook. Here you can run ads on all the Google ads like normal placements, so like search, shopping, display, YouTube, all of them under just one campaign. So in the other words, like I said, it's like auto placement on Facebook. But there are like some differences which we'll talk about here. So now I'll go to a Google Ads account, and let's say this is how you create a new PMax campaign. Sales, continue. We'll select Performance Max. Here, I highly recommend you connect your GMC, which will be Google Merchant Center. But here, I don't want to show you like the name of the GMC and the brand name, so I'll not select this. But like I said, you should totally select it. And for the campaign name, we will follow some sort of format again. PMax country is US, then product name, who created campaign, my initials, BG, and today is 28. Cool. So now continue. Start new. Okay, what do you want to focus on? We'll start with the conversion value. We can set up some sort of target, but not in the beginning. If you don't have historical data, do not do it. Like this goes for everything, like everything that we have learned so far. Let's say module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like search, shopping, display, YouTube, like all the fundamentals stays the same. Like if we don't have historical data, we don't go for automated or machine based bidding strategies, just like target ROAS or target CPA. We'll just keep it as it is. Click on next. Here, let's say we select US, language English. Here, this is the important part, automatically created assets. I highly recommend you don't do this. This is like lazy work. We are not lazy. Like go try to make some very compelling ad copies, headlines, like description, which actually like drive your CTR crazy. If you select this, Google will definitely make you like assets or everything, but they will be very poor quality. Like the chances of this type of assets like working is very rare. So I recommend you don't use this. Like click on next. Okay, here let's say asset to number one just stay the same. Final URL is like where do we want to send traffic? Let's say amazon.com, and we are selling, I don't know, massager. Here, if you can add 20 images, add all 20 images. We will actually talk about like the different variants of images, but as an example, like try to give Google as many things as you can in as many ways, so like algorithm can go out there, play around, and it's like a shortcut to find something like some winning assets. Same goes for logos, like add all the variants and everything, add videos, add headlines, long headlines, descriptions, everything, business names. Cool. Now, site link, this is like the same thing that we have spoken, like talked about in a search ads mastery, like call out extensions, price extensions, offer extensions, and for call to action, shop now. Cool. This is like very simple. Here, price extensions, call out extensions. Now, okay, what is like a signals? So signals is basically, this is how we tell Google like, okay, this is the type of people we are trying to target. This does not mean Google will only show the ads to specific this audience, but this will help them. Like again, PMax is a broad, like there are so many placements, like a huge audience. Like, so how Google will find the right customers for you? Again, if you leave it blank, like is again, think about it, like it's going to be very hard. It will take a lot time and budget to actually find out the right type of audience which actually works for you. So if you are just starting out with no historical data, don't leave this open. Let's say once you are in a scaling phase and your account has a lot data, you have winning creatives, videos, images, headlines, ad copies, everything, then it's a different story. But given that it's just you are just starting out, just don't leave it blank. So let's talk about search themes. So search themes is basically you add relevant keywords relevant keywords to the product you are trying to sell. So how do you come up with the ideas for search themes? Like the easiest thing you can do is think about angles. Let's say if you are trying to sell a product, add one such theme in one ad group where you are just targeting one such theme. So as an example, let's say if you are trying to sell let's say roses on Valentine's Day, then there are a couple angles you can go. First is like buy flowers for my wife, buy flowers for my girlfriend, and next angle would be third angle would be, let's say, flowers for my mother, flowers for my sister, flowers for my co-workers. Like, not really people do that, but this is just like a simple example. So what you can do is, those were like five angles, put all of them in one search theme in five different ad groups, if that makes sense. So the next thing is audience signal. So this is the same thing that we have talked about in a display module. Like how can we create custom audience, and we can import those same custom audience here. We can go to again, we can also try and target like this affinity audience and in market audience. So affinity audience is basically the broader type of audience, which is like the similar audience on Facebook. So let's say the people who are interested in tech, gadget, AI, those would be affinity audience. But let's say if someone is in the market trying to buy the product, which is like narrowed down, let's say iPhone 15 Pro. So that would be in market audience, because let's say if someone searches for that, they are in market to buy something more specific. Next is budget. Performance Max is well known to overspend. So I highly recommend, if you are using PMax for the first time, try to set up some sort of budget rule. So if you go to here and then click on tools and settings, again, top right corner, you will see rules. In the third column, it says rules. So try to set up rules, something like, let's say if you want to spend $50 a day on PMax, then you can set up rules like every day, every hour, like the rules will check PMax that if it has spent like $50, automatically turn off the campaign. And the second rule you will need is like to turn on the campaign the next day. And for the budget, like what budget would you need? This is a good question. I would say you can start PMax even from $50 a day. There is like nothing wrong with that. But most likely what would happen is, let's say if you already have shopping campaigns and they are spending some sort of money, and if you are trying to sell the same product in PMax, what you will see is your shopping campaigns will slowly start getting less impressions. Why? Because Performance Max has higher hierarchy in the campaign types of Google. So that means if you have the same product in your PMax and in your shopping campaign, that means PMax will get higher priority. So that means PMax will get impressions, not shopping. But that does not mean you turn off the shopping campaigns. You can still keep the shopping campaigns on as a backup in case your Performance Max misses to catch like any, let's say, impression. Then shopping campaign can like get those impressions. So it's like a backup, and there is like nothing to lose. Let's say if you don't get impressions, then you don't really, no one will click on it. So that means you don't really spend, because those campaigns run on cost per click. Now, different variants of PMax campaigns. So first is like Performance Max with feed only. So this is like, let's say, upgraded version of standard shopping campaign. So basically PMax is like upgraded version of smart shopping campaign. If you are not familiar, like there used to be a thing called smart shopping campaign. Google replaced that with PMax, but like made it a bit better. So the one way you can run PMax is only feed only. So that means you focus more to capitalize on the shopping placements. The second is assets only, where you are trying to go and try to get more of cold audience on YouTube, Gmail, display, and discover. And the next is a full bill, which is my favorite. Like, I love PMax full bill because it's like a lot of work to make it work, since you have to like try and test all the type of assets. So that would be videos, images, headlines, ad copies, everything like extensions. But once it's like, let's say everything is performing good, it's the scaling is very simple. You just increase budget, and then what you can do is, once you, let's say, start spending on this account, we are not spending anything, but let's say once you start spending and you open your PMax for all ad groups, you will see something called asset groups, right? So once you click on that, there will be an option called view details. So if you go there under your PMax asset groups and then view details, you will see like what type of assets are actually working. So there will be, let's say, best, above average, below average, or poor performance. So let's say out of your five headlines, two of them says poor performance. So what you can do is you can remove them and try to add more variants of the winning headlines. So this does not only go for the headlines, but this goes for literally everything. So let's say if you have added 20 images and three of them says best and the rest of them says, let's say, poor, that means you need to come up with more variants of the winning images and replace them with the images that says poor. So that would be, in short, how would you optimize your PMax campaign. So it's like frequent changes of, I would say, of the things which are not working. Very simple. This goes for everything: your headlines, your ad copies, like your description, images, videos, business logo, extensions. So we'll talk about now audience signals. So this is something we have talked in the previous module as well. Like you can come up with custom audience. You can even use the PMax for with affinity audience, in-market audience, search theme. PMax works really well for remarketing. So again, if you are just starting out, the best idea would be to start PMax only for remarketing, where you add the, let's say, last 60 days visitors and last 30 days the people who left the checkout, something like that, which is like the warm or the hot traffic. Now we'll talk about bidding strategies. I mean, not really. Like fundamental stays the same. If you are just starting out, stick with something manual where you have control and we are not trusting data. So that would be manual CPC and maximize click. Once you start seeing some numbers, it's okay to go with target CPA or target ROAS or something more machine based. But on PMax, start with conversion value. That is fine. No need to set up target ROAS or target CPA, anything. Now we will talk a little bit about campaign scaling and strategies. So what we have covered in the previous modules, that everything is combined in the same campaign. So that means everything that we have done separately, that we would do separately for all the different type of campaign types that we spoke before, we will do the same here, but like in the separate part inside one campaign. So the same thing, how would you like scale your search campaign? Basically, you remove the bad keywords and you replace them with the good keywords. Very simple. Same thing you do here. So let's say if your headline is says poor, that means you just replace it and you replace it with the headline with a winning keyword which you think might work. Same thing, you how would you optimize your shopping campaign? The same thing, you do that in PMax. Let's say if your feed is bad, then you try to come up with, you just go into the account, find the winning keyword, put those keywords into a title, into a descriptions, and that's how you optimize the shopping. Full funnel performance max, this is something like we combine everything. You go there, asset groups, view details, and see what's working, make more versions of that. That's how you find winners. Let's say once you find, okay, this angle is working fire, like this angle has 5 rows, but all the other angles has, let's say, 2 rows. That means it's a clear winner. So what you can do is take that out of that PMax, make a separate PMax for that specific angle. And then it will be very easy to scale because ROAS on that is like almost guaranteed. So I think that sums up everything for PMax. Other than that, yeah, so make sure you don't add your branded keywords into your PMax. Try to not add any branded keywords and keep your branded keywords only in the brand search campaign. If you are still like having some issues with it, you can use some sort of scripts, or you can reach out to Google support. Like we do both. Why? Because again, if your performance max will actually do some sort of retargeting anyways later down once you are in the scaling phase, but again, branded keywords are always going to work. So having them in PMax does not really make any sense, considering it's not very efficient. So I think that sums up everything about PMax. But if you have any questions, do let me know, and I will see you in the next module.